What's going on, guys? It is Broomstick here. I want to do a little part 2 on Sportsball. Since my last upload was Sportsball, and it's a topic that I think in these communities is under discussed. I think people who are interested in things like oofy doofy analysis and normie analysis and why they maybe have success, when you look above the failed normies, quote, as Pluto would say, or just anyone else in the sphere, these normies or oofy doofies have things that we lack. And I think Sportsball is a good platform to look into those topics, right? So I'm glad some people, if you look in my comment section, shout out to the people who actually, stuck up for Sportsball. They had conviction. Shout out to those people for real, man. Because I get where you're coming from. I used to be Sportsball preferential. You know what I'm saying? I used to be, this is a good thing. The chat road worshiping is a good thing. And the millions of salaries that they get, over civil engineers, software developers, all these other people. This is great. Go Sportsball. Let's go Cringe Max. Let's go Cringe Max. So, shout out to those people. I get where they're coming from in a lot of ways. Like I said earlier, if you listen to the video I talked about, if you're watching Sportsball, view it as brain rot TV. Don't think that's like an investment time. There are exceptions where, if there is truly a big game and you have a big social event, definitely, all those things are major wins. If you have tickets and a good group going, those can be good. I talked in the comments a little bit about, the minor leagues. You can go to a second league game or a AAA game, whatever it's called, in whatever sport ball you're watching, whatever sport. You pay 10% of what you'd be paying to go to the top league, and you're gonna watch people really compete. There's gonna be it's almost like going to a play that night or something, right? So you get a little you get out the house, you get a little escapism. I totally get that, especially when you're going with other people. So I'm not trying to completely shit on Sportsball when I have these talks, guys. So shout out to those people in the comments for real. But I want to talk about some things really personal. So when I talk about my, first LTR and the falling out of that and stuff, one major detail about that is there was literally, I'm not gonna tell y'all when it was, but there was a Super Bowl event, right? The biggest stage, right? And basically her city was involved in that, and she was we had that whole thing of I don't get, she was of the belief of I don't get why you're into that sports ball. I let you have this one thing. Women, when they really like you, they kind of let you have your copes and stuff. It's kind of they let you have your copes on the condition that they get to nag you about having your copes. So they will actually leave you alone, with your stuff and like that. Even to some degree, you'd be surprised, they can just be on their phone while you be on the game or something to some degree. But if you can't go too long without giving them attention and stuff, it's hey, wind up device, But basically, this event, the Super Bowl event, was happening, and I was should I travel? We were doing the whole distance thing. If you look back in my video catalog, I have a video about distance. And I'm okay, should I make the travel to go to that Super Bowl? And, I'm looking up the Vegas odds of that game. I'm okay, I'm not convinced, her team's going to win. I'm not too convinced. And I do know a little about, I do my own sports ball analysis. I'm the way I'm seeing it, it's a low outcome of possibility. So I instead opted to watch the game with a doofy friend at school at the time. It was actually, he's a really good guy. I said that endearingly. He actually, has a more put together life than me in a lot of ways, right? And we just get Wingstop, watch the game. We're in his little oofy doofy bachelor pad, right? That pretty much just sees himself and me. And maybe a couple other people on a rare occasion. He just kind of invites over and you know, the social circle. And, you know, we're up in there just watching the game, and it's like, sure enough, you know, the old team loses, right? And it's like, you know, it's like a moment, you know, I'm not even there, but, you know, I know what this is, because this has happened to my team before, you know, obviously in the city. But it's like that moment of, like, you know, the big game, like, you know, the big game, guys. The big game is happening tonight. And it's like, basically what happens is, in this one city that, you know, the Chadrones really, like, excelled that night, or the Care Bears kind of orchestrated a string of plays together. And I'm not saying that entirely dismissive, because these things very well could be rigged. We talked about, like, the magnetic footballs and stuff before. I think also we need to look at, like, refereeing. I didn't mention that in my last video. There's been so many, like, sus refereeing calls and stuff. Some have really blown my game. So you look back on them real time, it's like, hey, why wasn't that called? Like, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm glad they're doing, like, the VAR, like the video thing, and the coach's challenge. They almost need a better system than the coach's challenge. I think in, like, soccer, some things are just reviewed by default. It's like, okay, it's a goal, so we're automatically, like, scanning the, you know, the VAR and stuff. And they were way too late to get that into the sport anyway. Like, this is all recent, but, you know, the refereeing stuff is still, and there have been legit reports of, you know, under the table, like, you know, refs took money and called the game, player took money, called the game, sold the game, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, all those under the table dealings, like, oh, the authenticity of my Sportsball, they're competing the top level, 2 gladiators from the hometown. Like, come on, man. So, yeah, you know, it's just that moment of, you know, the team was in the championship or whatever, they lost. It's like a nuclear bomb of, like, positivity and, like, partying and all that goes off in one place, but then there's gonna be like a fallout, not like a dirty bomb, not like an explosive bomb. You know, the world will go on, but like a fallout and a dirty bomb of just despair. And, you know, you gotta be, I guess, if you're gonna involve yourself in sports ball, you gotta be, like, prepared for that. I don't know, because it's like, you know, even if those were your guys out there, right? All they had to do was get that little bit more, or find that one little bit more of a, you know, and they couldn't give you that one little bit of effort, and yet you're supposed to go above and beyond at your job. You know? Yeah, I can't take it with these guys, man. You see these cream cheese guys wearing these Tyrone People's jerseys, you know, and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, like, this is the culture. This is the dominant masculine culture now. You know, you want to LARP, and I say this endearingly, like, you want to LARP as a normie, get into some sports a little bit, but it's gonna be if you are a little intellectually savvy, it might be a little bit of a hollow existence. You know, you can be like a statistician, like, oh, the numbers, I'm fascinated by the numbers, and, like, I totally get all that, and, you know, I guess the intellectual game theories of the sports, but, you know, beyond that, it's just a hollow existence, because, I don't know, man, it's kind of upsetting. Like, you think of, you know, what if we had, like, instead of the Super Bowl, like, a big-ass day of, like, you know, literature and like, just celebrating literature, bro. Like, the kids come out, fucking, they get, like, all these new books and shit dropped on them. They're like, bro, do some, like, reading and shit. I don't know. Like, it's just weird the things we celebrate, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Like, man, you never never gonna know really, you know, a lot of these sports ball things too, it's like, you know, someone will be injured, and then even if the person wins, they'll be like, oh, but if X was not injured, then the outcome would have came out differently, and they're not even wrong. Like, they're not even wrong when they say that, but it's such, like, the juggling of the copes, you know, between the sports ball fans and the talking points. Oh, and the talking heads and the talking points in the sports ball world. Ooh, man. That's like a whole different thing, man. It's like a whole different thing right there. Yeah, guys. I think I've said enough. You know, obviously, I hope I really came down on the sports betting last video. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I did forget to talk about sports betting. So, there are odds makers in sports betting, right? And they're gonna fix it up in a way where they're gonna make a profit on, you know, 95 or more percent of everyone who plays their game. You know, and there are guys, you know, exceptions to do, I think, come out positive in those sports betting markets and stuff, but it's a slim margin, you guys, and the odds makers can fix it. So what I'm saying by that is, you know, you think it's like, oh, two guys top level going at it. You know, it's not 50-50 because odds makers, they take into account all that stuff, like the home field advantage, which I think if you're a professional, you gotta like practice with fucking loudspeakers and shit, simulating that. Like, I get living it is different than, you know, practicing it, but you know, you gotta pay people out on Fiverr to yell at you and shit while you practice speakers, all that. Like, fuck that shit. Like, you're a professional. You gotta, home field advantage has gotta be a fucking like mythos to you. It's gotta not be a real pressure. That's, you know, I think that's what the greats can do to some, like Michael Jordan, all of them, I think to some degree could, you know, exert that will on the game, and like, you know, but yeah, guys, like, sports betting, they're gonna fix it up in a way. And the other thing is, like, you know, you think it's like, oh, I get paid when the game ends, I don't have to wait like I do in the stock market. But the truth is, like, you know, if the outcome, you know, doesn't go your way, then it's not, you know, you're getting paid, you're getting all your money taken away from you. In the stock market, you get to decide when to sell, and you know, it's not a loss until you decide to sell. And if you made it a bet, you know, this has happened before. You make a bet with, like, you know, looking a couple years out, you know, it might come to fruition, you know, a few months later, and then you've doubled your money, tripled your money. And the other thing too is, like, in the stock market, you know, there's a lot of things, like, if you don't know what payment for order flow is, or what high algo trading is, you got to, like, look into that shit before you ever touch the stock market, because, you know, they kind of gamified the system, you know, the house, right? They've kind of gamified that system as well. But at least in the stock market, you know, if you develop a conviction and you look with a long-term perspective, you're able to kind of like arbitrate out that, you know, all those algorithms, all those kind of like near-term high-frequency trading, all those things that happen in like the near term with like momentum trading and stuff, those are kind of like arbitrated out to the side because you're doing a longer term, you know, swing trade, or you know, a higher investment time horizon, and then you come out of that, and if you surprisingly, you know, if you win just 6 or 7 out of the times, you'd be surprised how much money you can make. So yeah, guys, I'm not buying the sports betting hype and all that, and Sportsball as is, man, it's kind of there's great things about it, so shout out to those guys. But I don't know, it's just, you know, it hits home because I'm gonna close on a couple things, because number one, you know, I've had my you know, I've had a lot of different sports ball games where, you know, I know if that outcome was just slightly different than wherever I was at, you know, whatever city I was rooting for, like, it'd be a huge, like, uplifting experience, and it just gets snatched away just so some fucking, like, random bullshit town can, you know, have, like, a spurt of fucking, like, alcoholism. And then, and you guys are going to say, cope. It's like, let me have my cynicism. Please. You know, uh, if the shoe was on the other foot, broomstick. And number two, besides having my own, reality shattered in the sports world, that one time when my relationship fractured, it was literally 3 weeks after that sports ball event I was telling you about, the Super Bowl. And, I think it would have been a thing where if they had won, because I also have a close friend who was into that sports ball team in that city she was in. Maybe I would have taken a trip over there with my close friend or something, or we would have hung out, and I probably would have we maybe would have linked up, back when I guess we were still dating and talking and stuff, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe we could have I don't know, maybe she would have been open to kind of talking or something like that, but is what it is. So yeah, that thing died, and I think part of that was that, like I was saying, that nuke of just despair kind of hitting the loot. Being number two is just being first to lose, right? So that nuke of despair just hitting whatever sports ball city lost. So for you sports ball guys out there listening this far, man, what do you guys think about just I mean, have you guys ever felt that? You can't tell me you haven't been in a sports ball bar or something, and you just feel the wave of just ooh, hit the room. One of my favorite memories was I was actually in Spain when Spain played Portugal, I think in the World Cup, and Chadarone's Cristiano Ronaldo just put on this crazy performance, hat trick, 3 goals, and I remember the last goal was a free kick. It was 89th minute, Spain ahead 3-2. You're like, oh, Spain's gonna win it. Spain's gonna win it. And then Cristiano Ronaldo just gets a free kick, maybe 25 yards out, just fucking sinks that shit. You just feel, yeah, you can hear a pin drop. That shit was hilarious. What do they say in, okay, I'm just gonna end the video there, y'all.